Hello, Jasmine coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, where I'm going to talk to you about red color development. So I'm going to focus mostly on apples because that's what I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by, but this can really apply to any crop that has red color. So we'll hear from one of our California agronomists with an example of how they're using diKaP in California to help with color. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about why red color is important. Well, because it makes the grower money. Because consumers want a nice red apple when they're out shopping. So growers get paid on packouts as well as grades. So the higher amount of premiums, the more money they're going to make. So we can also help a grower save money by reducing the amount of times they have to go through an orchard. So a lot of times on a bicolored apple like this, growers will color pick and have to go through the orchard up to 3 or 4 times. But if we can make that 1 or 2, that's going to save a lot of time and resources. So factors that influence color, because there's a lot of different ones, are the big one is going to be your variety and the strain of that variety, but also the orchard location and site, the weather, whether or not you have cooler temperatures at night, light interception, if you have any reflective material, nutrition. We know that excess nitrogen counteracts red color development, and it can also produce excessive vegetative growth that can shade and stress on the tree. So I'm going to talk about those last two because that's where redox can help make a difference. So with nutrition, I already talked about excess nitrogen, but potassium has actually been shown to increase anthocyanin production, which is what causes this red pigment in the skin. So we have 2 products that are an excellent source of potassium that have shown to increase color, and that's diKaP and OXYCOM Calcium. And so besides providing plant available potassium, both of these products actually decrease stress in the overall tree, which again helps, because if a plant is overly stressed, it actually can have a reduction of photosynthesis, and that's going to reduce your amount of red color development. So OXYCOM has a little less potassium, but it does have calcium for those growers or varieties that you might want a little bit more calcium with that potassium nutrition. So I'm going to share a couple examples of, or I'm going to share a video actually that I took earlier in the season of a grower demo we did where we saw some really nice results, as well as hear from our California agronomist. Hey guys, let's talk about increasing fruit color on apples and how we can help you do that. So we have a product called diKaP that has been known to help increase color, and obviously that's important because the grower is going to get a higher return the more premium apples they have. But another good reason to help increase the color is it reduces the amount of times you have to go through the orchard. So I am standing in a rave orchard, which is an early bicolor apple, and this grower is really excited because they actually were able to get about 80% of the fruit off in the first pick, and then they'll get the remaining amount on the second pick. But where they didn't apply diKaP, they're going to have to go through 3 times, and they only got 40% off on their first pick. So pretty significant difference, and they tend to get more culls when they have to go through multiple times just because they're bruising fruit with all the ladders and tractors going through. So the grower's really excited. They're also excited that on the Honeycrisp where they applied diKaP, they started to see better color in about 3 days. So if you guys need help increasing color on your apples, definitely check out some diKaP. We like to apply it about 3 to 4 weeks before harvest, and then again 7 to 10 days later.
Hey everybody, we're out here at a cannery tomato field where it's just coming up to harvest, and what's important is uniform coloring, solids, and bricks. Something that we did here is apply 2 pounds of diKaP and a ½ pound of RX 780 to help finish these cannery tomatoes and to help with uniform color and sizing. To give you a closer look, this was the outcome. You could see an array of all red tomatoes and very little green ones. What happens when you don't have an outcome like this is a lot of different molds and a lot of bad quality when it goes into the processor. So it's important for cannery tomatoes to have good solids and good bricks.
Thanks again, Justin, for that awesome video. I want to just talk a little bit more in depth about some of the trial work we've actually done looking at coloring. So first off, we have a replicated study that was done by A&O Ag Research, which is a third-party researcher. The trial was conducted down in Dallasport, Washington, which is a pretty hot early site, and they did it on early Fujis, and they found significant increases in overall surface color of the apple and depth of the color. Which was pretty exciting because that variety usually has a harder time coloring up in that location. So that same grower the next year actually ended up applying diKaP on his early galas. Again, usually has some difficulty coloring up just because of the hot location. And he was super excited to show me his pack outs because it was the best ones he had ever had. So it is now a regular part of his program. We're also seeing really good results with using OXYCOM. So we have some growers that are using OXYCOM for some of its other benefits, but seeing large increases in color. And I know in Michigan we've had a lot of success, especially on Honeycrisp, with using OXYCOM Calcium. So our main distributor has also taken a look at both diKaP and OXYCOM on several different varieties and seen good results. So our kind of go-to rates for either of these products are going to be 2 pounds. The first application being about 3 to 4 weeks before harvest, and then reapplying about 10 to 14 days. And we are looking into doing more applications, just because, like I said, we've seen some really nice results where we've used it earlier in the season as well. So if you have some apples that need some more color, definitely check out diKaP and OXYCOM.